What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. Still in the garage. The goal is to go through the Magneto. So bike is back on the ground. Magneto is out. I just cut the kill switch wire in the middle. It's such a pain to get to the switch. It's a screw in on the other side. Not a lot of room to get to it, and I don't even know if that setup's going to go back in. The new Mikuni, brand new VM38.9 is on the ground right now, draining gas. We're going to switch back to the old carburetor because I know that carb is tuned and dialed. When I had it running, this one was sputtering, breaking up, needs some adjustments and tuning. I don't feel like doing another one, especially on a loaner carb that's not mine. So thank you for letting me borrow that. And like I said, when we were back, we were gonna have the bench kind of cleared up. So here we are. We have the mag here. I just yanked this out a second ago. And then some of the tools we're gonna use. But we'll go over to that side. I can tell you right now, I found some concerning things with this mag that weren't there before we fired it up before. But here's the mag. It's very grindy. Actually, this is a little bit better now. So we'll pop this apart and take a look. But, oh, right there. Right there. I don't know if it's end play on the shaft or what, but we definitely have. It's smooth, it's smooth, it's smooth. And then it catches at a couple points. So we gotta dig through this, see if there's something caught in there. Oh well, let me get my bench on the other side and we'll take a look. I've had this mag on and off several times. At least the cap. I haven't really had it in and out of the bike. It's been in and out of the bike 3 times. And it was working. It makes spark. I tested the spark. I don't know how good that spark is though. So we'll pop these screws out of here, and then basically right now the tentative plan is we're going to take out the coil and we are going to take out the condenser and replace those. The points are in decent shape. They're not like overly flattened out or missing material. If I want to swap them, we will, or I will. But for now, I think I'm just going to replace the condenser. I know a lot of people replace them at the same time, but I don't know how old these points are, and I honestly have had really bad luck with new points and condensers and things. So whatever I take out of here, we will keep in a Magneto box. But here's what we're dealing with. We're seeing now it's spinning okay. There's one tight spot, and I don't think that's off the lobe too. Oh well. Let's take a look and try and get this coil apart. It looks like there's 2 bolts here for the coil. And then we'll pop this off. So let's undo the wires first. Did that get eaten in there? It did. Sweet. That's fun. There we go. Saved it. Alright, so the kill switch wire can come out for now. Yeah, let's pop these little Allen bolts out of here. Okay. Never taken one of these apart, so I'm learning with you. There we go. Just a little stuck. Come on now. What are you stuck on? Little wiggle. Oh, it's getting hung up right here. One side enough. There we go. Cool. Coil came out. how much crap do we have in the bottom of this? Oh, yeah. She's not looking that good in here. Okay. So, take a look at the rotor. Now it's stuck, locked up again. She is not as healthy as I thought she was. Binding up, getting stuck, so there's crap on here in between. So I guess what we'll do is start taking more things apart. Let me pop the condenser out real quick too. I don't know if just a coil is going to suffice on this one. Rotors are really expensive, so we'll kind of pick and choose here what we want to do. So what do we got? We got this section will come off. Oh, this does not feel good at all. That's the mag body. Yeah, I think we're just gonna start popping these screws out. I guess we'll pull the points off. Hopefully you guys can see. I didn't even check that. All right, points will come out based on how crappy this mag feels. Like sometimes it spins perfectly fine, other times it does not. I'm assuming that would definitely have an effect on how strong of a spark we are getting. Points. Let me get a little E-clip here. There we go. Alrighty. Next step. Screws. I don't know how tight these ones are going to be. Do I want to do the vise or do I want to use the bench? Let's try the vise. These screws are in here pretty good. I'm hoping not to have to use the impact actually, but the bit on this fits these slots way better. There we go. So these are all free now. Depending on how crusty and bad this rotor looks once we actually get to it, might have to order a rotor. That'll be pricey and then it no longer stays a budget build in my opinion. Alright. Bearing. This feels good. I think that should be okay. I don't really know. This is a new experience. So like I said, I'm learning with you guys on this. There we go. Now we can get, oh crap. Keep forgetting I left that on. So here's our rotor. Definitely kind of grindy. But I'm wondering if it's just crap that's built up in here, causing some of the issue. So let's yank the bolts off the bottom. I think that should do it. If I yank these off, this should technically, let's see here. The body should slide off of this and then we should have just a rotor. I think. 7/16. Yes. All broke free. If I'm way wrong on taking this apart or the order in which I'm taking this apart, that's fine. Let me know in the comments. The only way I can learn how to do any of this stuff is by trying it and messing up a ton of times. So if that's not your cup of tea, or you don't want to watch somebody else make a bunch of mistakes so you don't have to, There are plenty of other how-to channels on other stuff, with probably much more knowledgeable people than I am. But I like doing this because I learn from it. There we go. Now the base is free. In theory, this should drop out. Do I need to press the pin out? No, it doesn't come out that way. It can't. Let's see. What else holds this in? Definitely have chunks missing out of this, so not what I wanted to see. There's a roll pin down here, and then the gear should technically come out, but I don't know if that's going to slide out. It doesn't look like an easy slip in. All that did was separate the body from the base, and then we got the mag up here. Let's see, we got a washer. Is there a snap ring of some sort? Was there a snap ring of some sort? Got the mag chucked up. I marked everything here in terms of that. We're going to try to drive this roll pin out and see if we can get lucky. Oh, well, it's actually moving. It's way better than I expected it to be. Okay, well, let's drive her home. Didn't know if this was actually going to move or come out. I've had really bad luck getting these things out. The hard part's getting them started in my experience, but that one, not that I've done mags before, but getting roll pins out at distributors and things like that. And unfortunately, we're at the house and not the shop, so I don't have a ton of things available for like picks and whatnot, so we'll break a Allen key. Ooh, this is goofy now. I got this chucked up here. There we go. Save the pin too. That's winning. All right, now, so the reason I marked everything, I don't know how much it matters in terms of putting this back in, but having not taken it apart, I at least have a straight line here. I know that if I line this line up here, this lines up with this side of the roll pin, this side's blank. So if need be, we can get this all back together, hopefully smoothly. Now, what to do next? I don't really want to squish this on the gears. Now I'm gonna have to try and see, maybe I got a tool or something I can catch underneath this gear. So now, I got the plate free. We're gonna try doing some love taps up here on the shaft to get this thing out. Just to give myself enough room here. Don't really like grabbing this way. Not my favorite by any means. Okay. So I got a little bit of wiggle. I just need a little more. Come on. There we go. A little bit of resistance on there. Almost. There we go. boy, this is nerve-wracking. I had to phone a friend to make sure that I was doing this right, or at least on the right approach, but we got the gear out. We got the roll pin out, one piece, so that's good. Here's our lower base. Washer. Shaft. And what else we got? Looks like a seal here. It's not in there crazy tight or nothing, but now we got a seal, a washer, then we got a snap ring down here. So let's get more tools. Hopefully these are small enough to get in here. These look really, really small. There we go. Snap ring. Now we got a shaft and a bearing. Okay. Sorry, it was moving. And then I realized we were getting hung up on the magnets, so there we go. Shaft is out. Nice and magnetic. Snap ring is here. Lower bearing actually doesn't feel too bad. So, completely disassembled. I'm okay with this. No notches, no weird noises. So there's the mag. At least got that one done. Rotor, on the other hand, not in the best of shape. Not terrible, but we're going to clean all this up and then clean out all the crap built up on these magnets as well. So let me do that and we'll be back. I cleaned up the rotor. It's not in the best of shape. The top side, from what I can see, top side's not too bad, but we definitely have some pitting and gouging down here. And there was a ton of metal shavings in the actual body as well. So, swap meet junk parts. Didn't necessarily expect everything to be as good as it was. And even now, when I find things wrong with it, it's just part of the game, right? Buy old crappy stuff, try and make it work. I'm not doing a full rebuild. I'm not sending it out and spending thousands of dollars or buying a brand new mag for it. So, I'm gonna keep cleaning this stuff up. I don't know if we're going to come around and finish up putting this back together. I'm going to shop around and see what the price on a rotor is. The magnets in here, I'm not really going to tweak or change in the body. I don't even know if you can do that. This is all fun new stuff for me, but lower bearing. If I end up ordering a rotor, I'm going to order a lower bearing as well, just because we are already this far. So that's neat, but we'll spray all these out, clear this out, and then I'll regrease this and see what it feels like. Okay, so I've been spraying all this stuff out on the bearing with brake clean. I am not going to replace the bearing here. This is actually working pretty well. There's no grease in here, so we're going to regrease it first, but it is balls. So there's definitely some metal shavings in there. Probably not a bad idea to redo it, but it's an open cage on the bottom. It's only sealed on the top here. But there is no notchiness or no grindiness. There was just some, I don't even know if it was metal shavings, but there was some sort of particulate in here. So this bearing feels really good now. It's tight. There's no in and out walk or wobble. That's my finger coming in and out, but it doesn't show excessive wear. So for now, we're going to slap this together. Now that I know how all of this comes apart, this isn't too big of a deal to go through. I've been putting it off because I didn't know. Now I know. This is how you learn. So we will reuse this, and then honestly I think I'm going to try rerunning the rotor one more time now that it's all cleaned up. Let's see what that feels like. If it fights me again, we'll go from there and then keep digging and start doing farther down parts. Core section, points up top, rotor, obviously it's scuffed. There's not really too much we can do about that other than replace it, but these are super expensive. Bushings in the bottom. actually feel pretty good. There's not a ton of play here. There's a little bit of wiggle, but that actually feels pretty good. Seems to spin all right. So that should be okay. Then we have the bearing, which is now cleaned up. We got to grease that real quick, so let me grab some grease. And then we'll start slapping this thing back together and see what happens. If you are an expert on magnetos, which is anybody that's messed with them more than I have, since this is the first time I've taken one apart, let me know how bad of an idea this is. We're just going to re-grease this quickly and start slapping parts back in. There's our seal, there's our inner. So this should drop in like so. And then I'd really like to press this in instead of trying to pound it, because that's not really good for the magnets. This might wait till tomorrow. So basically this shaft has to get pressed back in. I know I love tapped it out of there. It wasn't crazy tight, but I don't like pounding, especially going in on the magnet side. So press, we'll get that back in, then our seals go back in, seal and washer, drop back in, snap ring goes on the outside, like so. And we'll just start rebuilding from there. Set it up in the vise and rested it in there. Did not go pounding away at it, but it didn't take much. A couple taps and it slid right over the shaft on the bearing. So we are good to go on that front. Now, we'll drop our snap ring back on. So that seats into the groove. I am fighting the actual magnet strength right now too, so bear with me on that one. We don't have the upper bearing on there, so it's got a little bit of shaft walk left and right. So there's that. Now we have the washer and the seal. Like so. So much flaking chrome. That's probably what got stuck in this stupid mag. Washer and seal are good. Now, lower bushing. And this is the part that hopefully I have some sort of markings on here still, because I don't see them on the body anymore, which is unfortunate. Did I put those on the black side or the silver side? Back to the video. Also got to check where this one went. Pretty sure that's set there. Well, I was talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. Off camera, since it's not going to show up because I was in speedo time-lapse mode. This base plate, I had one thrust washer, looked like this, but a little bit thicker. That's underneath here on top of the seal. So it's seal, well, snap ring, seal, washer on the outside of the seal, then the base plate, and then this only lines up one way. So line your bolt holes up, got all 4 bolts back in. You got one washer here. And this will go on here, but I'm gonna re-grease and clean this up a little bit. Well, I'm gonna clean it up and then re-grease it, and then we'll button up the top side. Bearing is cleaned up, re-greased, spinning better than it was, just like last time. So I got a thrust washer underneath here, and we will drop our upper bearing plate on here. I got 4 little guys. You know what? I'm actually going to throw a couple drops of Loctite on here. Just some blue, tiny little screws. So small, it's really fun when you drop them. I'm just going to get these started for right now. I'm not final torquing until all of them are in and started. So realistically, if this doesn't work, it's fine. I'm okay with that. I've never done this. There's probably a ton of parts that I should be replacing in here while it's apart. Let me know in the comments, genuinely. I've never really played with a Magneto before. I understand how they work. I understand the general gist of them, but I've never physically taken one apart or had one in front of me. I think somebody in the comments said put the original distributor back in, but I don't have that either. So we now have a Magneto hooked up. Now we get to see if it'll spin. We still got to put the gear in here. So hopefully I can figure out roughly where these timing marks were on this thing. I took some emery cloth and just cleaned up the end of this shaft a little bit. I got the timing marker on the gear. However, I don't know if this is exactly in the right spot yet. So now I get to try and wrestle this gear back on, and this is again where that press would really come in handy. And let me actually clean this out. That's the one part I haven't hit yet. Should make it a little bit easier. To help with the metal on metal action. Our hole is right here. So we'll slide this guy on. Try and keep this as lined up as possible. The top side of that line. Alright, so the gear pressed on pretty good there. Got it lined up in line with the marks here. Now, this being a sporty, so right now I don't know, I guess on the bike this would be closer to the front cylinder. That part I don't think is going to make all that much of a difference on this. So let me try and get some of the grease out of here. Make sure that we're kind of lined up, and then we'll get to roll pinning this thing. Grab a little center punch thing here and try and cue this up in the middle, spinning nice and free. This is just a pick through here. Not feeling any contact inside the mag. Alright, let me figure out the roll pin. Okay, so I brought you guys over. All I did was center up the roll pin in here. Now, just about there, a little bit more. There we go. Roll pin is reinstalled. It's through on both sides. So now, we got a mag. Bolts are tightened up. Ooh, you guys are gonna die. Bolts are tightened up. Nice spinning. Feeling pretty good on this now. It's gonna have some drag to it just because it's literally spinning past magnets, so it feels a little bit better than it did before. Just looking through here. Should work. We'll find out. I don't know how much of an air gap is in this, but it's a magnet spinning past, kind of like your stator, I guess. There's not usually a ton of clearance, but I think it should be alright. So we'll be back, I guess, tomorrow, because you guys are going to die. I don't feel like switching batteries, and I've been out here for a minute, so tomorrow we'll do the top end, put the coil back in, and button up the points, and then we'll drill test the thing.